On behalf of the Veterans Association of Da Nang City, I would like to send a warmly welcome to the group from the veterans and family members of Marines, of the U.S. Marines. And I hope your visit will get a success and will help you to get more information about Vietnam as well as the Da Nang City. So I would like to introduce, firstly, I am the Colonel Bùi Chí Loan, the Vice President of Veteran Association of the city. Colonel Huỳnh Bá Thành, Vice President of the Veteran Association. Captain Nguyễn Thị Tám, Major Trần Ngọc Trung, a hero of the military and also members of Veteran Association. Colonel Lê Viết Trí, members of Veteran Association and a child of Vietnamese murder. Major military Dr. Lê Thị Ninh, members of Veteran Association, child of Vietnamese murder. Major Lâm Quang Long, member of Veteran Association, a child of Vietnamese murder. Major Ngô Văn Trung, members of Veteran Association. Major Võ Văn Hội, members of Veteran Association. Colonel Lê Trung Chính, official of the Veteran Association. Colonel Trần Văn Hùng, officials of Veteran Association. Colonel Văn Công Hân, officials of the Veteran Association. We also invite journalists and reporters of some media agencies of Da Nang City. So now I would like to introduce the members of the group.
Xin chào ngài, xin chào các bác cô anh chị, đồng chí. Em chắc rất là cảm ơn đến hôm nay. Ngày xưa em chắc là người tùy quan thực chiến, là người thiêu tá và cũng làm ở đại sứ quán ngày xưa ở phòng tùy viên quan sự để giúp Việt Nam Hoa Kỳ có quan hệ tốt hơn. Đến Da Nang nhiều lần rồi, cái thảo sân bay đầu tiên thứ hai đến Da Nang và em rất là cảm ơn đến hôm nay đoàn này. Bây giờ em sẽ nói bằng tiếng Anh và câu yên dịch. So again, just introducing myself and previously worked at the embassy with some of our key defense visits. First of all, I would like to introduce the Davis family. From the back right, Miss Regina, the niece of Sergeant Davis. Next to Regina is Miss Nikki, the daughter of Sergeant Davis. In the white shirt, Mr. Edgar Ray, the nephew of Sergeant Davis. Mr. Davis Hollis, the great-nephew of Sergeant Davis. Mr. John Hollis, who also organized this trip and wrote the book telling the story of Rodney Davis to really bring a lot of awareness to this great American hero. Next to our veterans, U.S. veterans from the war, to my right, to your right, Major General Charles Hood, who served 2 combat tours of Vietnam.
Vị tướng 2 sao.
Người vị tướng 2 sao, General.
Vị tướng 2 sao.
Đúng rồi.
General.
Đúng rồi. To my left is Mr. Nicholas War, also Marine Corps combat veteran, fought in the Battle of Hue City.
Tiếp theo là bác Nick War, thì bác Nick War cũng là
Sao thảm tại Hue. Bên trái là người phụ nữ là bà xã của anh Nick, tên là Susan Richardson. And to our before we get to our active duty Marines, recently retired Army Colonel Jeremy Bolin from. You may have seen him in Da Nang a few years ago, but came back for the Veterans Exchange at Hamburger Hill, or Dong Nhat Bia in Vietnamese. And then with our active duty Marines, so all the way to the left, my left, Major Daniel Romans, Thieu tá Dan Romans, the Tùy viên quân sự, Tùy viên Tùy quan thực chiến. Behind me is Major Matt Rousseau, Thieu tá, DPA in Hanoi. And to pause on these two, I think in the future you can expect to see these two in Da Nang many, many more times. They both just started their tours of Vietnam. And will both be very involved with the U.S. accounting mission, the U.S. MIA mission, and reconciliation and security cooperation in general. Behind me is Captain Dai Nick Pugh, a student studying Southeast Asia relations, so that in the future he can be in the international affairs assignments. And like in Vietnam and America, in our military, family is very important. So with him, his wife Maddie this year, to also understand the region and what her husband would be doing in the future in these assignments.
So I think the leader of each side will have some brief comments about the information we want to share together today, and then we will have the comments from the members of the family, right? Do you agree? Do you agree with the program? As you know, the relationship between the Vietnam and the U.S. normalized in 1995 on the July 11th, and on last year on September 2023, on the occasions of the official visit of President Joe Biden, our relations between two countries was escalated to a new level of comprehensive partnership, strategic partnership, and the new relationship between the Vietnam and the U.S. confirmed that we have a common vision about the relationship between the two countries, and we want to improve the bilateral relations between our two countries. We also appreciate the congratulatory message from the President Joe Biden to Vietnam on the occasions of 79-year anniversary of Independence Days of Vietnam. The second largest military base in the south of Vietnam, and the military force, the Allied military force, as well as the weapons and some products to providing to the Vietnam War, also allocated in the city in the past. Until now, still there are a lot of landmines and unexploded ordnance still in the site, in the underground, and we also have over 50,000 hectares was contaminated by the Agent Orange, and the Da Nang airport is also one of the three where was contaminated by dioxin in Vietnam. We have 5,000 Agent Orange dioxin victims, including 1,400 the people with disability affected by the Agent Orange dioxin, and we also have 966 veterans and 294 veterans affected by Agent Orange dioxin. In the city, there are 126 accidents occurring by the landmine and unexploded ordnance, caused 50 deaths and 483 injured. And in the city, we also have over 350 the people with disability because of the unexploded ordnance. The USAID and the government from the US help us to clear the places who are affected by the Agent Orange in Da Nang airport, and the collaboration between the two countries in this field improve the determination between our two countries in dealing these issues. The Veteran Association of Da Nang City received a lot of delegation from the U.S. For example, the delegation from the General Consulate from the Ho Chi Minh City, and nearly 20 delegation with hundreds of people from the Americas and Veteran Association, veteran groups from the America coming to the city to work on the to work and sharing the information about the missing soldiers from the two sides, as well as the landmine and the unexploded ordnance, and about the Agent Orange dioxin. And we also appreciate the information from the some veteran association from the U.S. To give us over 300 documents regarding the missing soldiers of Vietnam, and help us to find the remainings of nearly 1,500 of Vietnamese myrtles. We also had good collaboration with DPAA from the U.S. to find about 27 documents of missing soldiers from the U.S. and organized 24 the ceremony, as well as the return of 24 missing soldiers, the U.S. missing soldiers. I have just shared you some information relating to the war consequences, the war legacies. The war passed away nearly 50 years, but a lot of pains, a lot of losses between the two sides still present. A lot of death and poverty. A lot of children, lost their fathers. And nowadays we still facing with a lot of difficulties from the war aftermath, like landmines, like unexploded ordnance, Agent Orange victims. These consequences cause a lot of difficulties for people in their life. We always hope for everyone peace, independence, unification, happiness, and no war. I would like to send a message that we are very appreciate the effort of the two countries in recovering the consequence, the aftermath of the war. And Da Nang City is one of the very outstanding example for recovering after the war from a destroyed, severe destroyed city. Now we become a very beautiful and peace city of Vietnam. So after this visit, I really hope you can share the information of Vietnam and as well as the Da Nang City to the American, so that we can do more. We can have more actions, more activities to to improve the relationship between our two countries, as well as to help our countries to recover the war aftermath. Once again, I thank you for your visit today, and I hope you will get a lot of success in this visit.
To start, I agree. Our side is very thankful for the visionary leadership of President Biden coming last year and upgrading the relationship, and General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong. Our sincere condolences for his passing this year, and our gratitude for the leadership so far of General Secretary To Lam as well in promoting the U.S.-Vietnam relationship. We're incredibly proud that the vision moving forward in the relationship will promote economic prosperity both sides, high technology, semiconductors, all those types of things. But the legacy of war, reconciliation, cooperation still remains the bedrock of this relationship. It was veterans on both sides, people like John McCain and John Kerry, and veterans on the Vietnamese side, coming together in the spirit of humanitarianism to find each other's missing from the war. It was veterans like Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis, General James Mattis from the Marine Corps, in 2017 who came here and had a very fruitful meetings and went back to the United States and fought very, very heavily for funding for dioxin remediation at Bien Hoa Air Base.
Rất nhiều các cựu chiến binh của Mỹ thì sau khi mà đến thăm Việt Nam và quay trở lại Mỹ thì đã có rất nhiều những cái kêu gọi vận động hỗ trợ từ phía Mỹ để quay trở lại hỗ trợ Việt Nam.
And we understand the challenges that still remain. We were talking in the ride over here that legacy of war challenges are just something that will remain a part of this relationship with Vietnam moving forward. But we look forward to continuing to cooperate both to address the issues of the past in a respectful manner, but also to build a better, more prosperous future for both of our countries moving forward.
Tôi đồng ý rằng là các cái hậu quả chiến tranh thì vẫn là những vấn đề mà cả Việt Nam và Mỹ đều đang phải giải quyết. Nhưng mà chúng tôi thì rất là hy vọng vào cái sự hợp tác rất là hiệu quả giữa hai bên để giải quyết cái hậu quả chiến tranh này và cùng mang lại những cái hạnh phúc và thịnh vượng cho nhân dân hai nước.
I want to personally say thank you to the Da Nang Vietnam or Da Nang Veterans Association for all of the high-level security cooperation engagements we've done in Vietnam. Things like the aircraft carrier visits, things like high-level exchanges, things like every quarter, 4 times a year, having American teams fly into Da Nang to base out of to do our MIA accounting mission across Vietnam for almost 40 years now. So thank you for the Veterans Association for lending your voice and support, creating the conditions to allow those things to happen.
Về phía chính phủ Mỹ thì hàng năm thì chúng tôi đều có các cái lực lượng của bên cơ quan kiểm đếm tù binh Mỹ mất tích ấy, DPAA của Mỹ thì cũng đến Đà Nẵng rất là nhiều lần, thường là phải 4 lần một năm, và rất là cảm ơn các cơ quan chính quyền của thành phố Đà Nẵng đã hỗ trợ các cái hoạt động của cơ quan tìm kiếm quân nhân Mỹ mất tích Hoa Kỳ.
And on a personal note, before I turned over the family, but before I retired from government, I worked in Hanoi, did the MIA accounting mission, and realized very quickly how good of a partner Vietnam and the Veterans Association has been for our missing from the war for 40 years now. I also realized, we realized, that it was time to formally create a program to start working with the missing from the Vietnamese side. And so I'm incredibly proud to have been a part of creating a formal agreement signed by our Secretaries of Defense to formally help Vietnam with their missing in action moving forward. I think it's yet another testament to veterans just being committed to these issues and moving forward in the coming time.
Trước đây khi mà tôi làm việc ở cơ quan kiểm đếm tù binh Mỹ mất tích ở Hà Nội thì tôi cũng đã tham gia rất nhiều các cái dự án để hai bên hỗ trợ nhau trong việc tìm kiếm quân nhân Mỹ mất tích và cũng như là các cái liệt sĩ Việt Nam còn chưa tìm thấy hài cốt.
I think there's two things that our side really shared. Our side has a profound respect for how hard Vietnam fought for its independence, and your generation did, but also more importantly, how we take care of our veterans and our families, and that's something that we all share. That's really why we're here in the spirit this week.
Chúng ta thì tôi thấy là chúng ta đều có một điểm chung là chúng ta cần phải chăm sóc những cái gia đình của các cựu chiến binh cũng như là gia đình của các liệt sĩ cũng như là các cái thân nhân mà có người mất tích trong chiến tranh. Thì cái chuyến đi này của chúng ta ngày hôm nay là cũng có mục đích là như vậy.
So thank you again for your support. I look forward to more cooperation.
So please feel free to share your story, your information. This is a friendly meeting, so feel free to share your story.
Thank you for the offer to share stories. I have also been a soldier almost the past 30 years, and I've seen a lot of stories around the world. But I can tell you I have rarely been impacted as the way I have with my involvement, understanding of the stories from your country and your culture. I've learned over the years that the legacies and the scars of war last for generations. And yes, those of us in this room have a deep responsibility to address all of those things. But I think one of the most important responsibilities that we share is preparing the next generation, the younger generation, to continue to address all of those things. I have not met a more resilient people or a more resilient culture than the Vietnamese. I had the opportunity to come here in 2019 with some other American veterans, and we spent an entire week with your veterans And the healing that I witnessed during that week changed me, but it changed my veterans and their families' lives. And I believe, from what I witnessed, it also changed your veterans and probably their families' lives. And so that's one of the most important reasons we are here, is we all have a story to tell. And so we have the cameras from your side, you have the cameras from our side, but when the cameras close, we still have to tell the story. And we do that through the younger generation. That's the best way to do that. Our countries cooperate at the absolute highest diplomatic levels. That's for a reason. That's a reflection of the importance, the criticality of the relationship between our two countries. You said earlier Da Nang is an outstanding example of progress. I agree. But I think this is just another chapter and many, many more to come of outstanding progress as long as we continue what we're doing here. All I ask of you in this room is you just continue to tell the story. You continue to tell us what you need for the relationship to progress so that we can work together to achieve those shared goals. Thank you.
In 1964, my father was killed at the place just 30 kilometers far from the central Da Nang city. I can say it was unbalanced battle between the Vietnam and the US. And at that time, I thought when I grow, I will continue my father's way to hold the guns to fight for our nation. But in 1975, when the war ended, the relations between the Vietnam and the US, the relations between Vietnam and the US changed to another page. Foreign policy that we should put the past behind and look toward to the future.
Cái chủ trương đó nó rất hợp với lòng dân và chính có một phần nỗ lực của hai phía cựu chiến binh Việt Nam và cựu chiến binh Hoa Kỳ.
This foreign policy is also our people's design, and that is also contributed by the collaboration between veterans from the U.S. and Vietnam.
Hôm nay thì tôi được cấp trên gọi đến đây để tổ chức đón tiếp các ngài đến thăm thành phố Đà Nẵng.
Yeah. Today I am invited by the leaders of Veteran Association of Da Nang City to meet and receive the group from the U.S.
Và chúng tôi rất là vui được đón tiếp các ngài, bởi vì sự hiện diện của các ngài là thể hiện một lần nữa thiện chí trong cái mối quan hệ bình thường hóa giữa Việt Nam và Hoa Kỳ, trong khi chúng ta đã nâng một bước lên 2 cấp trở thành đối tác chiến lược toàn diện.
And I want to say that I am very happy to meet you all today, and your presence today reflects the healing and the goodwill between the two countries in reconciliation and healing.
Nếu như các ngài nói là có đề xuất gì không, thì trong buổi gặp hôm nay chúng tôi mong muốn rằng cái sự hiện diện của các ngài cũng như hoạt động của các ngài tại Việt Nam và thành phố Đà Nẵng sẽ có một tiếng nói với lãnh đạo Hoa Kỳ làm sao đó để giúp đỡ hỗ trợ Việt Nam phát triển mạnh mẽ hơn nữa trong thời gian tới.
You was asking about the suggestion from us to about the cooperation between the two countries. I just want when you travel back to the U.S., you can send the message to the government of the U.S. that we hope more cooperations between the two countries, hope more assistance from the U.S. to our countries. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I departed Vietnam at 58 years old. I too was a casualty or have a disability from that war from Agent Orange. And my return this year, this event, this memorial, truly impressed me in the outstanding development and improvement that has taken place. Also in the relationship, personal relationships, the reception that we received, the cordiality shared has been tremendously impressive. The spirit of hope, the spirit of opportunity that exists among the people, setting a goal of accomplishment. And you can look over and see the steps that were done. I also, in this person-to-person relationship for this family, to be able to go and be at the site where their relative gave his life in a cause that, of course, he believed in and we believe in. But I want to thank all of you here today for your time and participation and continued example to other people in other nations as well in recovering from past bad experiences. You can be assured, as on my part, from my participation and my assistance in my interaction with members of Vietnam, that I'll share this information and share the cause and the need, and hopefully instill a greater hope for a better tomorrow.
Vietnamese women also left behind their family, their children and their parents to move to the southern of Vietnam and served in the jungle. I served military force when I was 14 years old, and I went to the jungle for the secret activity. So at that time we did the secret activities in the jungle, and so the U.S. military force couldn't find us in the jungle. At that time, we had to overcome all difficulties, and our only aim is to protect our nation. And in my unit, there are 7 people, and we fight for two big battles in the past. So the war passed away, but the aftermath of the war are still present today, especially the Agent Orange dancing victims. And now it is the third and fourth generations of Vietnamese people affected by Agent Orange dancing. So I hope you can have more assistance, have more support to Vietnamese people to address this aftermath.
I'm just going to reply to that real quick, if you don't mind. As I'm watching you speak, I see the smile on your face, but I interpret that as pride. You're proud of your country. You're proud of what you accomplished for your country, correct? I don't speak Vietnamese, but I think you said yes there. You agree with that. And I come back to what I said earlier. This is the common thing that we have from both countries. Soldiers are proud. Soldiers do what they have to do. Marines, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, on which side of the table, you do your job, and you should be proud of that. And I know that our soldiers and our Marines are proud of what they've done for their jobs as well, of course. It's so impressive to be sitting in this room today with veterans from both sides, family members, and generations from both sides, and have the capacity to have a discussion like this, to try to find more areas that we can agree and move forward and help other countries, partners, allies, regions of the world avoid having to have conversations like this in the future. And the last thing I'll say, and then I will let others talk, I read about you and your female colleagues and the things that you accomplished on behalf of your country as I was studying history. And when I commanded an infantry battalion years ago, I had the task of incorporating women into my formation. That was new for